I always wonder what kind of world we live in. What kind of world where you have innocent people devastated, annihilated, tricked, deceived. You have pain, you have agony, you have all type of emotional anguish. You have an artificially created system that prioritizes money. It doesn't prioritize human ingenuity, human prosperity, but it systematically puts money above everybody. People are willing to do anything for money. They're willing to sell themselves out. They're willing to do things that are not moral. And it's just normal. In a world where you can see a beautiful eagle in Alaska, and that same eagle will come down and snatch a squirrel off a tree or snatch a squirrel off the ground and just devour it. We live in a world where there's beauty at times, but there's also evil and ugliness mixed in simultaneously. What does that say about our existence? What type of paradox do we live in? What type of wicked world do we live in where you can't do what you want for a living and people will gaslight you? People will try to talk about you. You're born into a world where you may not be comfortable in your own skin. You may be a short guy. You may be somebody that's not traditionally attractive, and that's like one of the main reasons why your life is not really going anywhere. This is a strange, mysterious realm we live in, isn't it? Have you ever just thought to yourself, if I had all the power, what would you do? How would you change your life? And I'm not just talking about money. I'm not just talking about having money in your bank account. I mean, legitimately, if you had real power, what kind of rules, laws, and regulations would you have in place to kind of make this world like a better place for everybody, right? Like, would you have people grow their own food? Would you have people try to come together? Would you have people work on, artful projects that help the spiritual growth of all people? Like, what would you do with it, really? Because money is an artificially created construct, and we see what's going on now around the world due to certain people with the shekels and how they're able to just cause a war out of nowhere. America's favorite ally, the ones with the shekels, they're able to pull around America by the nose. And if you look at this war with Iran that's going on, it's gonna be hard on the taxpayers. It's gonna be hard on people that are everyday regular Americans. It's gonna only raise the price of oil. It's only gonna raise the price of food and the price of everything. So who really benefits? And fundamentally and essentially, we're all connected by money. That's that's just a weird thing to me. It never sat right with me, even when I was younger. It never sat right with me that in order to have an ice cream cone, I have to have money. In order for me to do this, in order for me to get a video game, in order for me to be happy, I have to have money. And it's like deep, 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 deep down inside my soul, there's something that's saying that's wrong. Existence is not supposed to be like that. Life is not supposed to be like that. Life is supposed to be whatever you think you can manifest and create it. And this society tries to gaslight you and say that, you can just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But that's an old man saying. That's an old wives' tale. This world is all about looks, money, and status. And if you don't have any of those and you lack all three, well, you're going to be ignored, you're going to be ridiculed, and you're going to be humiliated, and you're going to be targeted. That's not a good feeling. So I don't know what kind of world we live in. We live in a hellacious world. Have you ever got so sick that you kind of just you started feeling yourself just lose strength? Like, I mean, really lose strength. Like, you can't even get out of bed. And it's like, is this how it's going to feel like when I finally take my last breath? You see, I don't want to go out in a hospital bed. I want to go out like the men of Stalingrad. You know, explosions, projectile fire, tanks, snipers, air support, artillery. I want to go out a soldier, right? Because especially the last few years, I've seen how it was when people slowly pass away, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's very scary, right? But what kind of God would design that? What kind of world are we living in where you can have somebody or you can know somebody your entire life, or you can have a significant other that you've known a significant portion of your life, and they can just be taken away from you. I had this little thought, right? I was thinking that, what if this existence we're in, what if this is already death? What if in the spirit world we're actually alive? Like in the spirit world, the higher spirit world, that's like the real reality. Not in the flesh, blood, and bone, but in the spirit world, where it's kind of like flesh, blood, and bone in a way. It has similarities, but it's something totally different. It's something totally, just outside of our perceptions in this realm. And actually, we were like once high ranking gods or high ranking spiritual beings, right? And Yaldabaoth somehow trapped us and put us in this flesh. And he has us scared, fearing, passing away. When in reality, we already passed away. We took our first breath in this realm, meaning that this is a hell realm, meaning that this is a realm where gods go to die, where gods go to pass away. What if it's that? What if we're already like, let give me an example. Let me give you a quick example. What if, like, in a pleroma, right? Let's say like there's like a high heavenly realm, and those gods get to live forever. They get to have everything they want. They get to actually be gods and powerful beings. And then you tell them about a world where you have a limited lifespan. You have to eat food. You got to drink water. You got to work a job you don't want. You got to pay bills and taxes, and you got to be somebody's servant. You got to get yelled at, screamed at, teased, humiliated for things you can't control, such as your skin color configuration, your height. You gotta constantly worry about money, constantly worry about it. Those beings will probably look at you like you're crazy and probably be like, wow, that sounds like hell. And what if, well, not what if, and according to the Gnostic text, the demiurge managed to take and instill us pretty much, and put us into these material bodies. And then we're inside these material bodies and we're fearing passing away. When in reality, we're probably already gone. It's just a little interesting thought, just food for thought right there, because I think there's much more to the universe. There's much more to the world than what they're letting on and what we're known. But I always think about it. We could have had any type of world, and we have this one. Are you serious? I was watching anime the other night, and it was just so cool to see a world where your hard work actually pays off. You could become the weak hero in the beginning, but if you're willing to train, if you're willing to just go through the pain, then you can actually have enough power to defeat the demon lord and his dark masters. And you can rise up, and you can get a girl, and you can have a harem, and you can have an anime adventure. You can, like, your power and your effort is directly correlated and coordinated and associated, But in the real life, you can work your hardest and you still won't get that far in life. You know how many people in the world work hard every single day, and yet they get nowhere in life, while somebody just sits on their arse all day and they just they're able to have everything. It's interesting, isn't it? But that's the world we live in. We live in an unfair world. So that means that whoever's the God that created this is an unfair God. You can't in your right mind think that whatever God created this is some good holy being. He has you scared. You're scared to say anything. You're scared to criticize this being because you're scared to go to hell. And you telling me that I'm the bad guy for pointing it out? But the God who created hell, created pain, created the devil, created all this evil shit, he's the one that gets a pass because he has the power, right? That goes to show you that a lot of, Christians or a lot of people that believe, they if this God didn't have any power, they wouldn't even believe in this God. They'll openly criticize him. If this God didn't have the power to send you to hell for eternity, then I guarantee you'll be criticizing him. But since he has the power to send you to hell, you think that just by being a sheep, he's going to spare you. Did this God spare Job of the Bible? Did he? Yes or no? If he didn't spare Job of the Bible, who was like a ultimate holy man, what makes you think he's going to spare you as well for kissing his arse? No, it doesn't work that way. This being or this entity just loves violence and volatile situations. There's a reason why there's a war going on right now, and honestly, I hope it leads to World War III. I hope it leads to nuclear proliferation and eradication. I hope it leads to that, because guys like us in our position, when the world is quote unquote stable, we're the ones that are isolated and devastated and thrown outside. So I want to be in a world where I have a chance, you know, And I'll play it just like play Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas, right? Play it just like that. But ain't gonna be no bottle caps or anything. I don't know what the currency is gonna be, but I want to see the world like that. And some people may take that as like, wow, that's, are you crazy? And it's like, yeah, I am crazy because the world made me crazy. What can I say? How can you be in a world like this and you not, not have any type of anchor towards it? We all should be happy right now, man. We all should have a girlfriend. We all should have everything that we want in this world. There's no reason for us to be in a poverty stricken position. There's no reason for us to work a job we don't like. While you have like a some female on Only Frauds showing her behind, to the camera, and you got thousands of guys sending her thousands of dollars, and she's just profiting, But hey, you can't really get mad at the players. You got to get mad at the game. So that's what it is. All I'm saying is that what kind of world do we live in, really? Because I see a lot of normies saying, "Oh, this is a good world. Like the world is what you make it." And it's like that's not true. How is the world? How is the world what you make it when you're 5'7" or 5'5", or you have a skin color configuration that you don't quite, have a correlation with? How? It's not your fault that you're in this position. Don't listen to nobody who tells you otherwise. These people are just gaslighting you. And a lot of these people are just highly sent by the demiurge. You got to be careful of that. Because this world feeds off your loose energy. This world feeds off your negative energy. It does. And even to this day, I got people still asking me, about, the negative energy and things of that nature. I'm like, bro, you can look up, the Gnostic text yourself and read it and get a clear understanding. But all I can say is that certain people have a divine spark that didn't come from the God of the Christian Bible, meaning that he's not their God and he's not their creator. And these people are able to see the system for what it is. They're able to see things. They're able to maneuver around the bull crap. And thus the system sees you as a target. When you're a person that you actually have your head on straight when it comes to spiritual knowledge and philosophy or just understanding esoteric secrets and esoteric things, when you're somebody like that, the world has it out for you. When you're somebody that calls out the normies, that calls out a system of oppression, they don't like that because there's certain people that benefit off of people like us being in a downtrodden position. There's certain people that benefit from certain people being losers. There has to be winners in life and there has to be losers in life because that's the way life is orchestrated. This world is not orchestrated to be fair because if everything was fair, a lot of these quote unquote losers that people call, they would use their natural God, I'm not gonna say God given, but natural monad for given or natural monad given talents. Right? You may be like, hey, Black Pill Villain, who the hell's a monad? Well, the monad is like the being in the pleroma. You can consider him like God or whatever in the pleroma, like the real God, but it's kind of like unknowable. Unlike Yaldabaoth, who sits on the throne, he talks to those people of Israel, he brings about curses and damnation and eradication to all the nations that he enslaved. He creates hell, he creates, the gates of Tartarus, and he creates Tartarus itself. Did you know the God of the Bible actually has a spiritual prison called Tartarus? Did you know that? And in this prison called Tartarus, the God of the Bible has certain spirits that he can't really defeat or whatever, and he throws them in the gates of and he throws them in Tartarus, and the gates of Tartarus are guarded. And the one who has the keys to the abyss is called Abaddon. You read it in the Bible. They said for 1,000 years, the devil is going to be taken and thrown inside the abyss for 1,000 years, right? Like according to the Christian Bible. And when that devil is inside that spiritual prison, there's other beings inside there that the demiurge couldn't really defeat and couldn't really beat. So he threw them inside spiritual prisons and locked them inside there so they can never really escape. Isn't that crazy? So imagine people like us, if the Gnostic text is true, that we get born, we go through a life of hell, we pass away, we go through the soul trap, and then once we see the soul trap, we get mind wiped and thrown back into another life as a little baby and rinse and repeat the process over and over again. And we've had many lifetimes that we forgot because when you get to the Archon's base, when you get to the Demiurge's bases and one of their little special places, they mind wipe you and take away all your memories. But before that, they give you a life review, pretty much like a judgment. And it's like, how can this God judge me when he's a monster? right? Like this God has some nerve, this God has some nerves to try to judge somebody when this God created a world of destruction and corruption and sexual seductions. Make it make sense. What world are we living in right now? Where you have people that are virgins at the age of 25, virgins at the age of 30, virgins at the age of 40. There was a movie called the 40-year-old virgin, you know? And when I was a kid, when I was younger, growing up, seeing that, I thought it was just a joke. I'm like, wow, because I was thinking as a youngster, most adults are married and they have children and all that, because I grew up in the '90s, right? It was like life now is totally different than when it was in the '90s. In the '90s, everything was better. The food tasted better. McDonald's actually had real food, and for $5, you can actually get filled up at McDonald's. You can get a Big Mac, large fries, a Sprite or a root beer, and an apple pie. Still have some change left over to go to the store and get some candy if you want. Like that was the '90s. And then I noticed as I was getting older, everything started to increase. You know, I remember in the '90s looking at gas prices like back like a long time ago when my uncle used to take me to school. And I remember him complaining about it. I remember gas was like what a dollar something, $1.67, $1.87, and then it started getting to like $2. I remember my uncle at the time started getting mad, and it's just like now look at the prices of gas, and now we have a war with Iran coming up versus America. That's just going to raise gas prices. It's going to raise food prices. It's going to raise all the prices. And how does the average American citizen benefit? How does the average American person benefit when you're in a world that's based in war? We're constantly at war. We're at war with ourselves. We're at war with entities that we can't see. We're at war with the government. We're at war with every single thing in this life. That's why I don't think this is a good world. I truly, honestly believe that this is a hell realm. Because in my mind, there's nothing else that can explain it. How do you explain a realm where you're always going through pain enough to drive you insane? You're always going through all of these, you're going through all these things at once. And it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over again. Did you think, or do you think Julius Caesar knew that he was going to be assassinated when he got assassinated in ancient Rome? I bet you Julius Caesar woke up that morning, did his usual routine, and then that happened to him. They jumped him and he got assassinated. Do you know how brutal that is? Right? And that was somebody that was actually doing, good for his country. It may not be good for like the barbarians in the forest, but it was good for like the quote unquote civilized Romans. But what kind of world is that where you can just build an army and go and just take over somebody else's land and nobody even bats an eye? That shows you, man, even from antiquity, even from ancient times, we've always been in the center of chaos. We've always been in the center of damnation and obliteration. This world is just like, I don't know what the hell to say about this world, man. I really don't. I feel like a lot of us, we've lost so much in this life, but so much that we've never had, meaning that we're old now, and we've lost the chance to meet a girl. We've lost the chance to be in our early 20s and going to the movies and going to the beach with a female. We've missed that. And that's something that you can't replace. That's something that you can't just say, oh, well, just get a job and work hard. And then once you make a lot of money, you'll be 40 something years old. And then you can start dating. It's like, bro, no regular girl wants to date somebody that's in their 30s or in their 40s unless they're rich and wealthy. Most girls want to date somebody around their age, and if they do date up, these girls are going to be using that person's money. We know what it is. It's going to be basically a sugar daddy. And some men don't mind being sugar daddies, like as long as they make it, as long as they make that natty smack and hit it from the back, right? So it's ridiculous, man. This whole world, I just don't understand it. Like you can have a talent in this world and still don't make it, while somebody who doesn't have a talent makes it. You know how many whack rappers I see? I'm like this guy couldn't rap himself out of a paper bag, yet he has a record deal. How is that even possible? And then there's some insane spirits, people that can really rap their heart out. They can tell amazing stories. They know how to ride the beat perfectly. They know how to use cadence and good rhyming patterns and all that, and they still can't just get a break. So what does that tell you about this world, man? It tells you that this world is just bent on destruction of humanity. This world is meant to drive you insane. This world doesn't really care about your dreams and aspirations and goals. All it cares about is can you be useful to the system? Can you benefit the machine? Because if you can't benefit the machine, then nobody wants you on their team. And like that's problematic to somebody that's a free thinker, to somebody that knows that the world is wicked, sadistic, and twisted and brutal. All I can say, man, is that you guys got to keep your head up. You can't let this life break you, even though I know it already did, because it pretty much broke me and it broke a lot of people. But if you're young, try your best, man, to accomplish what you need to accomplish. That's my best advice I can give you. Start young. Don't wait till you're 25. Don't wait till you're 35. Don't wait till you're 45. You're too old then. And start learning how to create assets for yourself. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and they were telling me, if you want to, like, if you come from nothing and you want to be wealthy, you have to have assets, because you can't just go to a 9 to 5 and think you're just going to just be rich that way. You have to take the money that you make and invest it in somewhere, and you have to be able to make money while you sleep. Because if you just trade your time, your very limited and valuable time for money, then eventually, that's going to catch up to you. But if you build these systems of financial retention, meaning that if you build, like, let's say you write a book, that book can sell when you're asleep, right? And the same with like making beats or making music. It's for all my creators. And they're like, I know not everybody listening, creates music or creates art, but still for people that create, you know what I mean? You know. And that's another thing too, is like a lot of us, we have that divine spark of creativity and creation. Meanwhile, the demiurge seems to have a propensity of destruction and corruption. So what does that say about that God? I know for a fact the God of the Christian Bible is evil. You can't tell me anything. He's evil, and he scares, with hell, and he rules by fear and intimidation. It's just, I don't know, bro. I really think that we're in a hell realm, and it's like there's no escape. There's no escape at all. Sometimes, bro, I just wish I had one good thing or one good woman in my life. Recently I've been like looking at those ASMR girls. I've been watching those ASMR mukbangs, not because I like them, because I find like certain ones with like pretty girls and they're eating, and then I just sit down and I just sit and I watch and I pretend that I'm on a date. Yeah, yeah, that's brutal, isn't it? But I don't. Y'all know I'm raw. I tell you like it is, bro. Like I watch those ASMR mukbang videos, some of them, not the nasty ones, but the ones where girls just eating casually, and I just pretend that I'm on a date. That's how bad it's gotten. And you telling me a good God will allow somebody to go through that? Think about it, man. Like, do you not know Christianity's indoctrination? Do you not know that? Do you not know that Bible that you have doesn't contain all the books, and that some books were taken out because they were deemed too dangerous, knowledge wise, for the public consumption? Meaning that the Pope and them hide it from you because they don't want you to utilize certain knowledge and certain things. It's brutal. I'm not saying that the God of the Bible is fake. No, I know the God of the Bible is real. He's very real. He's the demiurge, Sock the blind one, right? But I'm saying the God of the Bible was wicked, evil, and extremely powerful, because you have to have some type of power to take a human soul and trap it in the flesh and then tell it that it's nothing. Tell it to, like, you're going to tell a divine spark, from the dust you came, from the dust you go back to. That already don't sound like a God. That sounds like an a-hole. That sounds like somebody that likes thinking they're bigger than you, that likes making themselves bigger than you. That shows immaturity and lack of any type of real spiritual maturity. And this is coming from an almighty God and an almighty being. And we're supposed to just take that face value? Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy how this world expects you to just lie down and just take it, right? To get fleeced, pretty much, like this whole, as Millennial Steam would say, to get fleeced. It's brutal. what world do we live in? Why is this world so filled with corruption? Why is this world so filled with evil? Why is this world filled with all this crap? Why can't this world be filled with happiness, love, and joy? Why do we have so much miserable people that are looking to just mess with people online, but they would never do the things they do online in somebody's face? They wouldn't, because there's going to be consequences, right? But yeah, man, this world is it's absolutely brutal. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I wish, you know, I could look up in the morning and see a big old nuke coming down and the world just changes forever. It turns into like Fallout New Vegas and you got to fight these mutants and monsters. And you got to scramble for water or scramble for food. I guarantee you then, you know, the world will be a little different. I don't know, man. I got to remember that sometimes I'll be speaking, I'll be hearing voices and stuff in my head. So forgive me, right? Like I'm a genuine schizophrenic, and sometimes I'll be talking and my mind be somewhere else because I'll be hearing these voices in my head that be that be loud and clear, right? So just remember that when you watch these videos, as you're watching somebody that's emotionally damaged and going through a lot, and yeah, all I want to say basically to wrap this up, I just want to say that the God of the world is evil. What kind of hell realm do we live in? And this world is absolutely brutal. Peace.